Welcome to 24/7, wall to wall, around the clock coverage of our favorite streamer, Hasanabi.
Cake was a cutout for steak. I said the cake was a carve out for steak so that they could do cryptocurrency gambling sponsorships. And
okay, I'm bored. Do you remember if you came... Sorry, that was an awkward place to stop. Do you remember if you came to the conclusion that Trump's renegotiation of the NA trade agreement was overall good? I think it was just like meh. I don't think the if you're talking about the U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement, it didn't really do much. I don't think so. I don't think anybody can have a strong opinion about one way or another. I think it's like I think it increased slightly the percentages of goods that had to be manufactured in Canada, Mexico, or the U.S. before like being sold inside our markets, but it was basically just like kind of like NAFTA plus a little bit of change. I would say that it's a little bit worse, maybe because the abbreviation is worse. Like NAFTA is cool, and the other one is like What do you think about Israel attacking Syria? I don't know. What are they doing? Listen closely at 33 seconds and tell me if you notice anything strange.
A man scaling a 19-story burning building in Philadelphia with the hopes of reaching his mother trapped inside.
I'm not just going to sit there and let my mom die. I'd rather risk my life falling.
Okay, well, you ruined all the drama. I don't know if this guy made it or not, and now I see he's giving a fucking interview, so I already know he's made it, okay? What the fuck?
And let her sit in there and die.
Yeah, he's climbing all the way up the outside of the building.
Sometime after 9:30 p.m., Jermaine received a call from his sister saying his 65-year-old immobile mother couldn't make it out of her apartment on the 15th floor. Jermaine rushed to the scene, but police had blocked off the front door.
This was 1 year ago. He was talking hypothetically.
He said they was like, the elevator's not working. I'm like, no problem. I'll take the steps. I just want to go make sure my mother is sick. She bedridden. So I need to get up there.
He did the interview before climbing. Shut the fuck up. He clearly didn't do that.
But police wouldn't let Jermaine in. So despite having fractured his hip earlier that day, Jermaine let adrenaline take...
Wait, he missed it. Oh, wait, what did I miss? Sorry.
It's not working. I'm like, no problem. I'll take the steps. I just want to...
Oh, no. Oh, no. No.
To go make sure my mother is sick. She bedridden. So I need to get up there.
But police wouldn't let Jermaine in. So despite having fractured his hip earlier that day, Jermaine let adrenaline take over, climbing the building's fenced-in balconies, wire cutters in hand.
I was going to cut a hole in the fence to next door and then, to let her go through.
The fire was contained by...
Is this joke racist? Is this really a thing? Is this a meme? I don't think it's a... I think it's the associations with black people, but it might just be a poor person thing. Like you have a smoke alarm and it just goes off. You just don't buy batteries for it or whatever.
By the time he reached his mother's floor, she reassured him from the balcony that she was okay, and back down he went.
Wait, what? Wait.
So despite having fractured his hip earlier that day, Jermaine let adrenaline take over, climbing the building's fenced-in balconies, wire cutters in hand.
I was going to cut a hole in the fence to next door and then, to let her go through.
The fire was contained by the time he reached his mother's floor. She reassured him from the balcony that she was okay, and back down he went.
Was she yelling at you because you climbed outside?
She was more shocked. She really not... She don't be surprised at things I do to her. She know I go over and beyond for her.
So back down he went, expecting a quick arrest once on the ground. But an understanding officer let him go.
So he actually did cut me a break because he understood the circumstances. And he knew, when you're adrenaline pumping your mom up there, you thinking she dying.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. I came in as thinking like, wow, this guy seems like a hero. Like, what a cool dude. But because I assumed, I thought like the whole building was on fire. Is it just there's just like one unit just had a fire in it? What? This seems like so unnecessary. Wait, what? Was it just this one apartment had a fire in it? Is that it?
He reached his mother's floor. She reassured
What? Okay.
him from the
All right.
Hassan, quickly, come on, real
Didn't we already watch this? Why are we watching Mizkif watch this?
quick. 30 seconds.
Or did
Fuck
we
outta
watch
here.
Mizkif watch
Let's
it
get your interview
14
out the
hours
way.
ago?
I don't care if you piss your pants. What are you dropping?
I'm just dropping my bag. Oh, let's go over in the backdrop. Are we moving?
We gotta move for Hassan, actually. Hassan's too big, apparently.
Go over there. Go back there.
Yeah, what?
Over here now. She said trust her.
Hassan's not allowed to stand in front of the
Hassan, We had
sponsors.
someone earlier who's the same height as you, who beat you in basketball. I forget his name. I'm a piece of shit. Gotta pee.
Okay. We watched Mizkif. Is this just a different clip or? Yeah, that's true. What could he even do if there was a serious fire? That's true. What was he going to do? Carry his mom down? Since Assad fell, the agreements with Syria and Israel fell, so they took over a piece of land that fell along the Assad government. Actually, oh no. Oh no. We're not talking about this issue. We're not getting into this. Because I think I just realized a big old meme. There were no borders between Israel and Syria, were there? I don't think there ever were. Because I think the Syria and Israeli border were just armistice lines from 1967. I don't think there was actually a real border that had ever been negotiated between those two states, right? So from Israel's perspective, it might be that, well, if Assad's gone, then fuck it, let's keep fighting, possibly. Which, I mean, but I don't know. I'm not sure, actually. I don't know what the international, if there was like an agreement in place or something. I have no idea. I'm not sure. But I don't know. That sounds so dumb, though. Why? Well, then negotiate borders. That's on you, Chief. But I don't know 100% though. Take that with a grain of salt. So wait, hold on. Why is the IDF bombing Syria? I'm stunned. It makes no sense. I get U.S. bombing ISIS camps to make sure they don't use this moment of chaos to gain control. If you want to don't stop thinking about ISIS. Just don't think about this at all. You really just shouldn't. Just put a whole black piece of tape over the Middle East and just don't think about it at all, okay? From the West, we want to go in and we want to look at guys as like, these are bad guys and these are good guys. Okay, who are the bad guys? Well, ISIS and Al-Qaeda are the bad guys, obviously. And the good guys are, I guess, either the HTS, is that what they call themselves now? Or Assad, one of those two. It's not that clean, okay? Nothing here is that clean. Everybody is vying for different interests and are interested in different things for different reasons. But it doesn't put them on the same side, right? Like, I'm pretty sure Al-Qaeda and ISIS have always been opposed to each other in this conflict. It doesn't necessarily make one side a good guy or one side a bad guy. And again, I don't even know how relevant ISIS is. It's kind of that clean for ISIS. Okay, if you were ISIS, it's clean because everybody hates ISIS. That's true. I don't know if that's true today, but in the past that was true. But that's because ISIS got big enough that they could just fucking kill everybody. But Just don't fall into this trap of like, oh, the good guys and the bad guys and the good guys. Like, there's way too many factions in here, and there's way too many people that have different interests for different reasons in this region. Is it destabilizing their neighbor? It could be bad in the long run for everyone, but I don't know. I don't know. There might be times when you prefer a destabilized neighbor. Depends. Here's an actually serious answer if you're looking for it. Israel captured the Golan Heights from Syria in 67. 6 years later, in the Yom Kippur War in 73, Syria tried to reclaim it and caused major losses for the IDF, bloodiest war in Israeli history. Eventually, Syria got beaten back and Israel invaded and captured another chunk of the Golan, holding it for several months, even after a ceasefire was signed. In 74, Israel and Syria reached an agreement whereby Israel returned the territory it captured in the Yom Kippur War, and that this area would become a demilitarized zone enforced by a newly created UN mission. Part of this agreement was that Syria and Israel would patrol their respective sides of the demilitarized zone. Fast forward 50 years, in which this agreement pretty much held up, and Syria descended into a civil war. Even throughout the civil war, the terms agreed to were pretty much honored by both sides, with minor infractions by Syrian rebel factions, including ISIS. ISIS is that far to the south? Maybe, I don't know. However, due to the collapse of the Syrian government in the last 2 weeks, Syrian soldiers who were supposed to enforce their end of the deal abandoned their post. The result, rebel factions entered the DMZ, even going as far as to attack the UN garrison. So according to the deal, Israel now has the right to return to its own security. Okay. What the fuck? Don't we have a... Oh. One-day warning ban. Post sources! I don't know who you are. How mad do you think the Europeans are going to be when the Syrians in Europe don't actually leave? Don't most of them want to go back? Okay. Watch this, Destiny. I'm like 85% sure this guy is a Nazi, no? The Keith Woods guy?
What's going on here? What's this all about? So for the past few decades we've been under constant oppression by Bashar al-Assad, the dictator of Syria. Yeah. He's been imprisoning civilians, he's been murdering, torturing, massacring everybody left and right. Alright. So since this morning, since 2 a.m. we've reclaimed Damascus, Damascus being the capital of Syria. Yes, yeah, I understand. So the entire country is free now. So you're free now? We are free now. So finally. So now does that mean all you go back to Syria now? The economic situation isn't correct. Okay. So it's economic reasons. You're in Ireland, economic reasons.
Oh, this is just like it's your far right talking points, right? Yeah. Okay. Based. Can't wait for Elon to start talking about that. True. You fuckers. Where are my mods at? Everybody needs to be getting a 3-day ban in here. Where are the sources? Source your fucking statements.
President-elect Donald Trump, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being here. You are the first president since Grover Cleveland.
Oh, it's even infected the mainstream media. Did this come from alternative media or did it come from mainstream media first? I just don't understand what you gain from putting cameras on these fucking stupid moving bars. What are you adding? It's so stupid.
Thank you so much for being here. You are the first president since Grover Cleveland to win non-consecutive terms. Republicans now have control of the House and the Senate.
Right.
What do you plan to accomplish in your...
I was watching yesterday's VOD and you said the train doesn't matter because Israel's planes. Hope you got a lot of angry emails for that. I didn't, and I don't think it matters. I don't. Yeah, fight me, bite me, and fuck you. I don't think it matters that much. I think that's copium. Hard copium. Get fucked. The only terrain that matters is how loose the soil is underneath the dirt so that you can dig some goddamn tunnels. That's the only thing that actually matters, okay?
First 100 days in office.
Well, we're going to do something with the border, and very strong, very powerful. That'll be our first signal, and a first signal to America that we're not playing games. We have people coming in by the millions, as you know, and a lot of people shouldn't be here. Most of them shouldn't be here, but we have jails being emptied into our country. We have mental institutions from all over the world being emptied into our country. So we'll be doing that. We're going to be extending within that period, or as soon as we can, the Trump tax cuts, because, you know, they're coming due and they're very substantial for people. And it would be very, I think it will anger a lot of people, frankly, if we don't get an extension of that. That's what led us to one of the greatest economies ever. And
some guy emailed me and said it was stupid. This is all I hear now. And I think this is right. We need to just do this. I don't even want to, God, this is so boring. Oh, fuck. It's all good. I'm just going to go back to video games. I watched the clip of you reading the email that uses a motorcycle hobby analogy in the context of modern social media to explain how politics is just slogans, quote unquote, now. I'm concerned that you're going down a path of rediscovering things that have been true in this country for a long time, so it's best to read from people who've already done the heavy lifting for you. The following is a quote from a book published in 2003. More details down below. Words italicized are mine. To add clarifying context, I can't add it all in here. Quote, democracy does have decisive advantages, at least for the wealthy, secure societies, over alternative forms of government. But they are not advantages that depend on deliberation, on analogies to scientific inquiry, on a lively and informed public interest in public issues, or in civic mindedness. People's interests, preferences, and opinions influence government, certainly through the electoral process and otherwise, but not in the way that views expressed in a faculty meeting influence faculty decisions through debate and pooling of ideas. The roles of the people at large in the governance of a large democratic nation is a mere shadow of its role in the concept of deliberative democracy. People know when things are going well or going badly, and then he adds, to the extent that things are as they believe them to be, whether for themselves personally or for the nation as a whole. Their own welfare is, of course, bound up with the nation's and will vote accordingly, but that's about it. The political parties know this, and so their campaigns appeal mainly to interests rather than the good, and do so largely in simplistic slogans, end quote. The author goes on to argue that it wouldn't even be desirable to aim for an idealistic system where people as a whole are, quote, better informed, end quote, and become better engaged with information/media, and it makes a pretty compelling case for its position. This is a passage from the book Law, Pragmatism, and Democracy by Richard Posner, a former Seventh Circuit judge from the Court of Appeals. This is probably the best book that explains American democracy with a focus on pragmatism. If you were to read it, you would immediately see a clear path forward. You're wasting a lot of time being surprised by Vivek, Musk, Trump, Rogan, Techno Bros, Tim Pool, etc., spreading fake news and easy to understand slogans. Yes, they are doing it on purpose, and no, they are not stupid. Okay, Rogan is stupid, but he is a useful puppet, and his podcast is a gold mine for these people and the IDW type folk. I would be surprised to find out that they didn't talk about Rogan being an idiot behind closed doors. You're being dumber than them by not accepting that this is how things work, and you have to start employing their strategies if you want to stand a chance. Remember that webcam video of Ben Shapiro soying out at Tim Walz after he was chosen as Kamala's running mate? That's what conservatives see when they see you soying out about Rogan saying the millionth dumb shit. They just think it's funny. Quote, I'm going to build a wall, and Mexico is going to pay for it, end quote. 2 sentences, that's it. Sometimes 3, but more than that, you've lost people. Use their example. To be clear, I'm not saying that you should lie and spread fake news, but your messaging needs to become way more reductive. Reserve explanations or substantive conversations/debates with people like Pisco or the unicorn conservatives like the tax guy who engage in good faith. Oh, I think he's referring to a debate I had a couple weeks ago. If they're not in this category, flip a switch and go into sophistry mode. Your over-reliance on intellectual or logical or nuanced defenses and attacks is starting to look like an issue of display of ego because it's clear that using dumb language would be more effective. Let it go and be effective. Example, to Tim Pool or Rubin, quote, you're a Russian puppet and you got paid because Russia loves your anti-American message, end quote. Whatever the reply is, the best strategy is to repeat that slogan. That's what Tim Pool would be doing to you. Don't let opportunities like this slip away. I think this is kind of how, I think this is the position that I kind of stumbled upon when I realized, like, for the media, like, you have to just find a simple thing and repeat it, like, on peers, like, what is this? Answer this. What is this? This was bad. This is dumb. This is bad. Like, and it just needs to be that. Because I think going any further than that is just a waste of fucking time. Which is sad and stupid. But, like, this is what Trump just did. He just repeated, like, 5 slogans that mean nothing. Like, what is... Like,
it's from all over the world being emptied into our country. So, like, it's the same jails are being emptied into our country. Insane people are coming over. They don't belong here. Build the wall, tax cuts, and like that's it. It's just like nothing here is. Everything here is.
Grover Cleveland to win non-consecutive terms. Republicans now have control.
He never expands on it. I feel like what Donald Trump has done is. I feel like we all kind of like played a game and then we all, but we pretend that we're not playing the game. And then Donald Trump is like, wait a second, this is just a game, right? So I can just like do this, right? And then it's like, well, we're not supposed to do it like that. But I mean, I guess you technically could. You know what it kind of reminds me of? In the 90s and 2000s, I guess, like people loved like the huge tittied chick with like fake boobs, right? It was a thing. It was a look for a while before the girl next door then kind of became popular. But like people loved that fake boober, the Pamela Andersons and all the plastic surgery shit. But people would always say, or at least my recollection is people would be like, I want a chick with huge tits, right? And then you'd be like, you know her tits are fake, right? And be like, no, I just want huge tits or whatever. I want huge fucking knockers, huge boobs, okay? But in 2024, living in Miami Beach, guys don't even say, and I understand this is like a hyper crazy part of the world, but like guys here won't even say, I want a girl with huge tits, wink, wink, or I want a girl with a huge ass, wink, wink. They'll be like, I want the BBL. I want the fake tits. Like they call out for that directly. And it's very interesting to see kind of the shift, at least down here in Miami Beach. I don't know if this has like made its way to other parts of the country or world or podcast space or whatever, but I'm like, interesting. Yeah. But that's not what your audience is built on. We like being well-informed and not getting dumb, simplistic messaging, so it doesn't really apply to you, does it? Well, no, not on my stream. I wouldn't just sloganeer in my stream, but I would, like, when I prepare for debates, I should be preparing for debates more like that. Because if you really think about all the debates I've had, all of my most like epic own moments are usually me asking a very simple question or making a very simple point. Like with the Owen Schroyer thing, it was the dinosaur question, or it was like, what's the difference between a democracy and a republic? Do you even know what that is? Like it's usually like I can't think of any own moments like where it's like, oh, epic shit. Where it's like Destiny lays out complicated and nuanced explanation of a thing, and then the person gets usually they just like move on, and it doesn't even stick. Like, I'm reminded of my... The Ukraine speech was good. Yeah, but that wasn't a debate, really, right? I was just like I was just narrativizing, basically. Which is good, too. Narrativizing is something I need to do as well. It's narrativizing and then punchy lines. Like, if I know more, or if I know something and the person's not ready for me to know it, then they just, like, move on. It's like, oh, okay. And then they just move on. It's like, wait, I don't even feel like I got a good own here. It just, wait, what just happened? What was the point? What was the point of this? I didn't get anything for this.
Come into this country, come in. It's not complex.
And then to be clear, you think that that's the case right now?
That's the case right now. And that is the case what the Democrats want. That is correct. They have sanctuary cities all over my state.
Excuse me, sanctuary city has nothing to do with immigration policy.
Oh, sure as it does. If you are here illegally, we will not allow ICE or anyone else to take you away. You can come. That's what sanctuary city means.
That is not what a sanctuary city is. That's not what a sanctuary... Sure, I can tell you what it means. When it comes to enforcing immigration, that is exclusively in the purview of the United States government. Now, it tends to be the case that if you're a state official, you can collect information about whether or not a person's here legally or not. And if you want, you can turn that information over to federal authorities, like Immigration and Customs Enforcement or like Department of Homeland Security. You don't have an obligation to do so. In some cities, it's supposed to say we won't. So a sanctuary city is just a city where they arrest you. They're not going to do an immigration check, and if you fail, they're going to turn you over to the federal authorities. As somebody that is a conservative, who I imagine would have an appreciation for the concept of federalism, but the important protections of states' rights, because that's what we said when we threw abortion back to the states, you should champion a state deciding whether or not they would want to cooperate with a federal authority when it comes to turning somebody over for matters of deportation. But essentially, so like on paper, okay, well, so he thought I didn't know what this meant. Not only do I know what it means, I also know why he's wrong, and I know why it's contradictory to his own ideology. You're a conservative. You believe in states' rights. Why would you sit here and be bullying individual states to comply with the federal government or something they don't agree with, right? So I feel like this is but it doesn't really hit or matter because he's just like, oh, okay, and then we just move on. Sanctuary city does not legalize illegal immigration. It's just whether or not a city wants to cooperate with federal investigators when it comes to turning over an undocumented citizen or immigrant.
Fine. Okay, we can continue.
Do you agree with that, Dennis? I mean, what was the point of that? I should have just called him like a fucking loser. I should have said you're a loser with glasses or something. I don't know. Like, what was it? What was even the point of that? I didn't even get there's no catharsis. It's like, oh, okay, well, I don't know. Maybe I guess maybe it comes off as an own, but. The optics were good here, no? Yeah, I guess, but he just moves on. Just like, oh, okay, I don't know, man. Whatever.
Of the House and the Senate.
Right.
What do you plan to accomplish in your first 100 days in office?
Well, we're going to do something with the border, and very strong, very powerful. That'll
he's just doing the thing, right? What do we need to do about jobs? We need to give unions the power to make workers better, and so everybody can have better jobs and be working way better. That's his answer to everything, and it works.
100 days in office.
Well, we're going to do something with the border, and very strong, very powerful. That'll be our first signal, and a first signal to America that we're not playing games. We have people coming in by the millions, as you know, and a lot of people shouldn't be here. Most of them shouldn't be here, but we have jails being emptied into our country. We have mental institutions from all over the world being emptied into our country. So we'll be doing that. We're going to be extending within that period, or as soon as we can, the Trump tax cuts, because, they're coming due and they're very substantial for people. And it would be I think it will anger a lot of people, frankly, if we don't get an extension of that. That's what led us to one of the greatest economies ever. And those two things are going to be very vital, very important. We're going to be focusing on crime in the cities, and we'll work with Democrat governors. Most of them are, as you know, if you look at the 25 worst places, they're just about all Democrat-controlled cities and states. And we're going to be working with Democrat governors and Democrat mayors, and I look forward to doing it. But we have to do something about crime, and mostly in our cities.
What do you, yeah, tell us what we're supposed to do. What do you mean? What do you mean we have to do something about what? Do what? Oh my God. This guy in chat just said, have you realized that Family Guy was always right about politics? And I already know what you linked without even clicking it. I'm going to copy link address, and I already know what it is. It's Lewis saying 9/11, isn't it?
And we're going to have a lot of other things. We'll be working on nominations. We're going to still be working on some nominations. I think they're going very well. We have, for the most part, I think they're going extremely well. It looks like Peter's doing well now. I mean, people were a little bit concerned. He's a young guy with a tremendous track record, actually. He went to Princeton and went to Harvard. He was a good student at both, but he loves the military, and I think people are starting to see it. So we'll be working on his nomination along with a lot of others.
We are going to...
Like, what is the responsibility of the media here, I guess? Like I don't know. Like, this sounds to me... Have you ever... Where are my writers at? You ever get an essay in class and it's like, what were the 3 most important determinative factors in the beginning of World War I? And you're like, oh, fuck. And it's like, in the early 1900s, there were a lot of things happening in Europe. And many societies and people viewed these things in different ways. There were a number of these situations that increased tensions across multiple countries that caused people to lose faith in the alliances that they had formed and led to the countries becoming involved in war with each other. Many countries believed that, you're like, okay, syntactically, grammatically it works, but you're not saying anything. You're like, how much? Oh my God, okay, it's a 10-point question. I'm going for 6. I know I can get 6 points if I can just write into fucking words. Because what you do is, if you had the naive teachers, because you'd write bullshit like this, and then a teacher might be grading it, and they might call you up and they're like, what did you mean when you said this? Because you can look it up after. It's like, oh, well, when I said some countries might have issues, that what I was referring to, because then you like read it after the class, like, okay, fuck, it was about this. Like, oh no, obviously, I'm sorry, I should have been more specific here, right? Oh, I wasn't specific. I'm sorry, I didn't really want something with more specificity. But you're just making shit up, and you know it. But I guess people just don't realize this, or they don't. I don't know, man.
We'll be working on his...
These are S-tier procrastination and bullshitting strats that only people with ADHD know? No, this has to be an ordinary student thing. I'm sure every student does the bullshitting. Like, you can write a whole ass bullshit ass essay on, like, sample essay question, anthropology of Rome, final exam. Okay. Like, this would be some shit where you haven't, like, prepared at all. Okay. How have mortuary practices changed from the Middle Paleolithic to modern civilizations? How, in particular, have human mortuary practices come to be used as a means of marking social distinctions? Mortuary, I think, is dead people, right? The modern approach to the treatment of deceased people has dramatically changed throughout the years, alongside other cultural factors that influence how we view death. In the past, people treated their dead in a way that largely coincided with the individual and cultural beliefs held by those societies at the time. But in modern times, we have different sets of standards influenced more by things like science and health. I don't know, like I can write like 3 pages of an answer, but I'm not saying anything. I don't know any of the answer. I have no idea, but you can just like bullshit, right? And you do an answer like this when the question is worth 10 points and you don't know the answer, but you want to go for like 4 to 6 points. You know you can get like 4 to 6 points as long as you just like bullshit with enough vague generalities like this. But like there are certain teachers, right? Once I did, like I could do this in my early English classes, but then in my AP English classes, you couldn't get away with an answer like this. Because the teacher would look at you and be like, tell me one like fact, give me one thing of substance that you've said here. And you're like, fuck, I don't know. Or they'll ask you like a specific, and you're like, I don't fucking know. Like the teacher knew when you were bullshitting. But like this answer is clearly bullshit, right? That was my strategy through the school systems with the UK and Georgia, and I finished with great grades without basically knowing anything. A little bit late, but you should have asked Piers about the Hunter Biden if he still would have had an issue with it if Joe always said he'd pardon him. You know him, and these conservatives still would have bitched about it, probably, yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Nomination along with a lot of others.
We are going to delve into your nominations, but since you bring
delve, good one.
Him up, do you still have confidence in Pete Hegseth?
Yes, I do. I really do. He's a very smart guy. I've known him through Fox, but I've known him for a long time. And he's basically a military guy. I mean, every time I talk to him, all he wants to talk about is the...
Kind of related, is this messaging not an education issue? Like, Americans are dumb due to poor education standards and bad practices. So in a way, the Republicans are right about the Department of Education being dog shit. However, their solution is worse. I don't know if this is an education issue, because I think people know this. I think it's, you know what? I actually said this a long time ago. I've believed this for a long time. I probably said this like 10 plus years ago, that I think one of the most important qualities that a human being can have is curiosity. Because I think what curiosity does is it extends, I think what curiosity really is it's an extension of your critical thinking skills into areas that aren't directly something that you deal with every single day in a specialized manner. So for instance, if I was like a car mechanic or something, and, you know, I was asking a guy, like, what kind of spark plugs do I need or some shit, and a guy gave like a bullshit ass answer, I'd be like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? Or like, I need to know what type of oil this car takes. I don't know what you're saying right now. This is bullshit. But then as soon as it comes to an area that's right outside of your direct specialization, people's brains like shut off and they don't apply those same critical things. So like, oh yeah, that sounds great. Whatever the fuck you just said sounds great. I think that's the issue, I think. Yeah.
The military. He's a military guy. I used to kid him about it. I didn't think it would be in this position where he may be, hopefully will be Secretary of Defense. But every time I was with him, he was fighting for soldiers, where he said some soldier was unjustly put in prison because they were really doing what they were taught to do. He may be a military guy. Do you
think that curiosity can be taught or learned, or do you think it's an innate trait of a person? I have no idea. I'm not sure. Are there more curious societies? I'm not sure.
Military guy. I mean, every time I talk to him, all he wants to talk about is the military. He's a military guy. I used to kid him about it. I didn't think it would be in this position where he may be, hopefully will be Secretary of Defense. But every time I was with him, he was fighting for soldiers, where he said some soldier was unjustly put in prison because they were really doing what they were taught to do, in some cases. So, yeah, I think he's going to do fine.
The fact that...
What is he... Is he talking about the Blackwater people? During Trump's first term in office, Hegseth lobbied for the pardons of Army Lieutenant Clint Lawrence and Army Major Matthew Goldstein. Is it? Wait, hold on. I'm so sorry. Wait, one sec. This is a troll name. This guy's name. This guy has spent every single year of his life a million times re-explaining how his name is spelled. Matthew with one T, and then Goldstein or Goldstein. Okay, and they're like, okay, how do you spell this? G-O-L-D? No, not Goldstein. Goldstein. G-O-L-S. Goldstein. Okay, Goldstein. G-O-L-S-T-E-I-N, right? No. G-O-L-S-T-E-Y-N. Goldstein. Jesus, what the fuck is his name? Matthew, one T. What? Adam and crew did a talk about their first 5 minutes of their newest podcast, Destiny video, to come out tomorrow. Oh shit, uh-oh. It's not like the motherfucker picked it himself? What do you mean? Just change your name, lil bruh. Wait, it's spelled differently on... It's misspelled on Wikipedia too. Wait, it's not misspelled. This is the spelling of his name. Oh, they spelled it incorrectly here. Oh, and they spelled it incorrectly. Oh, never mind. Jesus Christ. My God. This guy's gupping. Why do you guys keep, I hate this. Don't make me defend Hassan. Don't make me defend Hassan. Please stop. Please stop making me defend Hassan. I don't ever want to be in this position where I have to defend Hassan. When Hassan tweets out here, oh, hey, everyone, it's time to care about dead babies in Syria. Social media told me so. Isn't Hassan making fun of the fact that nobody in the West gives a fuck when Middle Easterners are dying, except for whenever there's some story in the media and now you're supposed to care? Isn't that what, this is what the tweet is saying, no? Everybody keeps bringing this up, like Hassan is saying that, like, fuck dead babies in Syria. We only have to care about them because the media is saying. Why? I don't know why you fucking retards keep bringing this up, like Hassan hates Syria. Now, you can argue that he hates Syrians because he supported Assad in a different manner, but this is not, I don't think that's what this tweet is. Like, retard on retard violence. Was it on the sub? I think it was a long time ago, but... He doesn't think he's doing the thing. He's doing that, but he is... He doesn't think he's doing that, but he is, so the tweet is ironic. Okay. I don't think that's why most people are making fun of this tweet. There is a way that you can see this tweet as being funny, because he only cares about... I don't think that's what's going on here. Pretty sure people just think he's being... anti-whatever Syrian civilian, but okay. Does him supporting Assad paint that in a different light completely? No, I think him supporting Assad is bad. I think that is what you would say is like leading to the, I think, a very anti-Arab position, but I don't think people read that tweet rightly.
There are these allegations against...
It's like, it reminds me of that one woman who got canceled. I think it was like one of the first big like Twitter cancellations of all time, where there was this like pretty progressive lady, I think, and she tweeted out something like, going to Africa, hope I don't get AIDS, just kidding, I'm white. Where I think this was supposed to be like a tongue-in-cheek making fun of her kind of like white privilege, but then this got, I think this got interpreted as like, oh, excuse me, AIDS is for black people? And then, yeah. And then I think her life was basically destroyed once she landed from this flight. She was the Anne Frank of our generation. True. How did Justine Sacco get a PR job? Her level of racist ignorance belongs to Fox News. I'm confused why I'm seeing far-right people defend Assad. Isn't their entire position that white people shouldn't care about the Middle East? Like, I've seen like 4 neo-Nazis support Assad on Twitter. What's going on right now? Bro, the Middle East is literally a choose-your-own-adventure story. Or it's like ad libs almost. Like, you can pick any leader you want in the Middle East and you can support them basically from any political ideology depending upon which set of facts that you choose. So if I was a neo-Nazi, I would back Assad and I would back Syria because the Assads are based. They never made peace with Israel. They never trusted those fucking Jews. They're always working in conjunction with people like Hezbollah. They haven't even formally settled borders with the fucking Jewish people. Unlike Egypt and Jordan that cucked out to Israel, they still maintain their active front with them. Like, well, it was a DMZ, but like, I mean, like you can, so I mean, from that perspective, if you're a neo-Nazi, you could support Assad for that reason, I guess. Yeah, you can always find, again, in the Middle East, there's always a reason to support any group depending on how retarded you want to be.
I think he's going to do fine.
The fact that there are these allegations against him, misconduct, sexual misconduct, heavy drinking, the fact that he said to some senators reportedly he'll stop drinking if he gets this job, does that worry you?
No, I think that everybody has something that they can stop. Some people can stop eating. I'm lucky I'm not a drunk.
Destiny's the dumbest guy alive. December 3rd. Wait, why is this tweet? Sorry, hold on. I need to listen to this. Why is he tweeting about me on December 3rd? Wait, what?
There is no consciousness at conception personhood. Do you believe a woman should be able to drink and smoke from the earliest point of pregnancy if she doesn't get an abortion?
I would say no, because you're committing harm to a future person.
Whoa. So is it committing harm to a future person to dismember them at 19 weeks?
No, because you're preventing that future person from existing.
Okay.
Wait, is it supposed to be an own on me? Why do people ask me? It's the funniest thing. People ask me a question, and it's very obvious what you're setting me up for, and then I'll answer the question very honestly, and then they like are super sad, like, oh, we got this kind of trap. It's like, I obviously know where you're going with this. You don't think I've ever thought about the answer to this question before? Like, how stupid do you think I am? Okay, whatever. You literally say that after this, do I? Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. Does that worry you?
Okay, sorry, hold on.
Sexual.
Back to
do, in some cases. So yeah, I think he's going to do fine.
The fact that there are these allegations against him, misconduct, sexual misconduct, heavy drinking, the fact that he said to some senators reportedly he'll stop drinking if he gets this job, does that worry you?
Wait. Is this the Hegseth guy or whatever? You said he'll stop drinking? Wait, what? Dustin, your point makes no sense. We don't consider moral value of future persons. There is a way to account for that. It depends on what you mean by that, right? Like if I were to set a trap in a forest, knowing that somebody's going to step into it, we would say it's immoral to set the trap, even though we're evaluating like a hypothetical person that will eventually step into it in the future, even though we're not harming somebody right now, right? We're causing future harm. We're knowingly causing future harm, right? Is she talking about Hegseth here? Is he an alcoholic? Is he an alcoholic or wait, what is that? There's a great Onion article headline there, Destiny. Alcoholic Secretary of State vows to enter rehab on confirmation. He's an alcoholic rapist. Well, like he only rapes when he's drunk, or? Look at this response to your argument in that Twitter thread. Wait, with this logic, can I prevent your future life? It's Dean. You haven't fully developed. You seem younger than 25. Your testicles haven't dropped yet. It seems completely logically consistent. What the fuck? Okay.
She's focused on getting that perfect blend of chocolate and vanilla. That's energy in progress.
Okay. Please help me. I need a way to not lose my fucking brain right now. The most staunch, pro-revolutionary, anti-establishment lefties I know are backing the Assad regime, and I'm having an ironic break from reality. Yeah, I don't know, bro. It's welcome to the club.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI as it's known, appears to be going a bit out of style.
Okay, well, this video has. Day one. I need the day one dictator dream list. Every single developer, middle manager, CEO, whoever decided to stick videos on news pages that aren't related at all to the content, capital offense. You're gone. You're gonzo. You're gonzo, garbanzo. You're out of here. Either deported or night flights. Okay? Now, if he did have a drinking problem, that would be obvious. But to make something out of it that isn't there just because he's going through Secretary of Defense, the media should be ashamed of themselves. What? Just as a heads up, okay, take this as a life advice thing. Don't look at chat because chat's going to steer you wrong because people don't know anything about alcoholics or drinking in my fucking community, okay? If somebody is an alcoholic, all right, that can be very difficult to tell from the outside if you don't spend a lot of time with them. People can be incredibly fucking wasted and you don't have any idea whatsoever, other than maybe smelling it on their breath. But yeah, especially people who are alcoholics. These people can put away an ungodly amount of alcohol and you wouldn't even know that they're drunk. You would have no idea whatsoever that the person you're talking to has like a massive blood alcohol content. So the idea that you would just know if somebody's a drunk, I mean, if you spend enough time with them or if you live with them or whatever, you can see this bleed out in their life in other ways, but that goes for a lot of drugs too. Maybe. I wouldn't be able to speak on that experience. I'm not sure. But I know for I don't know if it goes for a lot of drugs, actually. The thing is, once you're an alcoholic, you almost need a certain amount of alcohol just to fucking like be stable. Like you're going to seem more unhinged without alcohol than you are with alcohol. But I guess no, that's probably true for a lot of different addictions, actually. Like I'm thinking like cigarette smokers without the cigarettes go crazy, or like house without his Vicodin goes crazy. So yeah, that might be the case. Yeah. I wonder if that's more of a downers thing than an uppers thing. Maybe. I have no idea. Are people on uppers? No, caffeine is or not caffeine, I'm sorry. Nicotine is a stimulant. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, maybe. Meth? I don't know any, I have never known any meth addicts. So I can't say.
No, I think that everybody has something that they can...
Alcohol is the worst. I almost died because I went cold turkey. Why would drinking alcohol cause you to die from eating cold turkey? These things aren't related to each other at all. Logical fallacy. Let me get a Red Bull. Hold on. Second thing, okay? Ready? Spinny chairs. Listen to me, manufacturers. Spinny chairs should have a lock so that they can only spin like so much if you turn the lock on. How many times have you stepped away from your computer and you get out of your chair and it's just doing this, but then it goes all the way around and it pulls your headphones off the table and then it wraps around. Does this happen to anybody else, or am I just fucking retarded? Am I the only person that has this issue? Anybody know what I'm talking about? There are certain classes of drugs. Somebody mentioned GABA. I don't know if it is. There are certain classes of drugs where your body becomes so accustomed to having so much of that drug in the system that if you quit that drug, you will die. Not die of like pain and not figuratively die, but you'll literally die. I don't know if this only applies to downers or if it's GABA related or what, but like heroin is an extremely addictive drug. It is severe and you can do a lot of heroin, but I don't believe if you quit heroin cold turkey, regardless of how addicted you are, I don't think you'll ever die from heroin withdrawal. It'll just be really bad and really agonizing. But for alcohol and for, I think the whole class of benzodiazepines, if you take those and you're addicted to those and you quit those cold turkey, I think you can just die when you quit those. Those are two drugs I know for alcohol and benzodiazepines. I know there might be others as well. I don't know what causes it or what the, I don't know what causes it, but why does water not have any calories? What do you mean? Because it's water. What would you burn for energy? What? Barbiturates, benzodiazepines, alcohol, and glucocorticoids. Jesus. You're totally wrong. I died from heroin withdrawal. Based. GABA is the primary inhibitory neurotransmitter in the central nervous system. It is responsible for decreasing all nerve cell stimulation. Okay.
Can stop. Some people can stop eating. I'm lucky I'm not a drinker, but I could stop eating. And we all want to stop doing something. And if he said that, I mean, it's a nice thing to say. That's a good.
Like, let's just listen to all. I'm sorry. This is just the game, I guess. Now I feel like a retard. This is probably the whole time, and I'm just retarded. And this is just always what it is. You just like say random. This is just it. Now I want to try to do like an hour interview where I just answer questions like this.
No, I think that everybody has something that they can stop. Some people can stop eating. I'm lucky I'm not a drinker, but I could stop eating. And we all want to stop doing something. And if he said that, I mean, it's a nice thing to say. That's a good thing to say. But he's very respected. I can tell you, I know a lot of the people at Fox, they think he's fantastic. And the people that work with him, really, they love him. So I think you're going to have somebody that's really terrific.
I actually knew an extremely high-functioning heroin addict, and nobody else knew until he died from getting fent in his bag when it first hit the scene. Yeah, people don't, because we talk so stupidly about drugs. Like, you can be a high-functioning addict of almost any kind of drug. Like, there are lots of people that do heroin or amphetamines or whatever regularly and abuse them and can still go on to, like, have relatively ordinary lives, work their jobs or whatever. I mean, you're paying a great health toll, and you're taking a big risk by doing this because there are a bunch of side effects, like knock-on effects to your health that will happen. But, yeah, a lot of people think that, like, oh, you do this drug once and you're gone, you're going to die. And typically, unless you're getting something incredibly potent that you weren't aware of, like fentanyl, or if you have like some other complication, like a health thing that is uncovered by doing a drug that kills you, like generally doesn't happen. Yeah. Don't mistake that. That's not a encouragement to do drugs, just to be aware of. You should be aware of like the effects of, drugs.
And the people that work with him, really, they love him. So I think you're going to have somebody that's really terrific. And again, all he talked about with me, I said, you're not really a television guy, even though he did very well, as you know. You're really a military guy. He said, I'm all about the military. And I told him, so he's making a lot of money at Fox. They're doing very well. And I said, if for some reason you don't get this thing, you're not going to be able to go back. And all that money you're making, you can kiss it goodbye. He said, this is all about America. He didn't say, well, let me think about it, let me discuss it. That's a very big, risky thing he's doing. When he goes and he says, I'm going to give up, millions of dollars in order to possibly become the Secretary of Defense. A lot of people would say it's a great position. It's probably almost no greater position, but a lot of people would say, I have to think about it. He said, I don't have to think about it.
All right, we're going to delve into...
Like, why does he get to answer a question like that? Why are you allowed to do that? That's crazy, man.
Your cabinet picks a little bit later, but I want to delve into one of your signature promises on the campaign trail, which was to end inflation, to lower prices. You are now proposing tariffs against the United States' three biggest trading partners. Economists of all stripes say that ultimately consumers pay the price of tariffs.
I don't believe
Can you guarantee American families won't pay more?
I can't guarantee anything. I can't guarantee.
What are you even here for? What the fuck?
Guarantee tomorrow. But I can say that if you look at just pre-COVID, we had the greatest economy in the history of our country. And I had a lot of tariffs on a lot of different countries, but in particular China. We took in hundreds of billions of dollars, and we had no inflation. In fact, when I handed it over, they didn't have inflation for a year and a half. They went almost 2 years, just based on what I had created.
Destiny, surely you also acknowledge that being an alcoholic in particular affects the cognitive state in a guy that has to probably have a clear state of mind almost 24/7. I just think that's not okay. I don't actually know. I'm not sure. I'm sure it must. It must. But like, as somebody who has spent time with alcoholics, I'm just telling you, I had no clue what an alcoholic was like until I like spent a few days with one. Bro, this person must have put away like 15 to 20 mixed drinks in a day. I would have never known they were drunk. I had no idea, no concept of it. I didn't even realize it. I'm just like, what do we, and it's like wake up and it's like, let's go to breakfast. And then it's like 3 mimosas. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then from there to the bar, I'm like, holy shit, you're insane. But the person is just like, they're lucid and they seem pretty normal the whole time. I'm sure it must be less optimal in terms of IQ, or I would imagine, but I mean, like, you're a human being. Your brain is a wonderfully complicated thing, capable of learning and exercising so many tasks. Like, you probably don't need that much of it to just like get through the day and like work or whatever, right? Like, you probably shouldn't be flying an airplane, but like, could you do an ordinary job while being an alcoholic? Possibly. But like, yeah.
And then they created inflation with energy and with spending too much. So I think I'm a big believer in tariffs. I think tariffs are the most beautiful word. I think they're beautiful. It's going to make us rich. We're subsidizing Canada to the tune of over $100 billion a year. We're subsidizing Mexico.
Like, what does that mean? We're subsidizing Canada. Oh, no. Hold on. He doesn't mean a trade deficit, right? The United States has a services trade surplus. Wait. This is $50 billion. Is he saying we're a subsidy is when the government spends money on a particular thing? Is he saying that a trade deficit is a subsidy?
For